Requirements of the Community Development Block Grant Program related to documenting benefit to low and moderate income persons and households. Since spring, staff have been working to update an earlier publication. This updated handbook is now presented on our website. The following slides and accompanying audio summarize the steps by which local governments can demonstrate how their proposed CDBG applications would benefit low and moderate income persons, a key element of any CDBG application. Going to slide 2, or background, the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG program, was established by Congress by the Federal Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. Actually, CDBG was a consolidation of multiple HUD programs that existed prior to 1974. The emphasis of CDBG is to assist low and moderate income households. Therefore, it is very important to determine that each project will provide benefit to low and moderate income households or persons. This is a necessary step to qualify for assistance under the program. Federal statute and HUD regulations define low and moderate income, or LMI, as follows. 50 to 80% of median family income determined on an annual basis is equivalent to moderate income, and then less than 50% of median family income is equivalent to low income. Okay, slide 3 is CDBG funding based on low and moderate income, or LMI documentation. Each project must demonstrate that a minimum of 51% of the CDBG funds requested will meet the needs of LMI persons or households. Again, this is one of the key ranking factors in evaluation of all proposed CDBG projects. In other words, over half of the funds requested in CDBG must show benefit to LMI households or persons. Okay, slide 4 describes how there are 3 different methods to demonstrate compliance with the low and moderate income national objective. Again, the primary purpose of the program as envisioned by Congress. These 3 methods are, number 1, demonstrating area-wide benefit to low and moderate income households. Number 2, demonstrating a benefit to a limited clientele. And number 3, demonstrating direct benefit to LMI households. All right, on slide 5, we'll talk about area-wide benefit projects. Now, this is for project activities designed to serve needs in a specified geographic area where at least 51% of the population is LMI or low and moderate income. This is for cases where the proposed project will benefit all the residents of the area. The primary data resource is the U.S. Census American Community Survey, or ACS, data. The emphasis is on assisting a physical geographic area, such as a town or neighborhood. This is the common method used to document LMI benefit for water and sewer projects, since these infrastructure projects have definite service boundaries. And then the key step then is to go to HUD ACS data to see if the community is over or under 51% LMI for all households. On slide 6, with more information in regards to area-wide benefit projects, the project area boundaries must be clearly delineated because the boundaries determine which households would be served and then, of course, affect the calculation of the low and moderate income benefit, because the principal step then is to compare the project boundaries, which of course contain low and moderate income households, to the HUD LMI data, which is based upon the American Community Survey census information. On slide 7, HUD Low and Moderate Income, or LMI information. As explained earlier, the information comes from the U.S. Census American Community Survey, or ACS, data source. From this information, HUD has prepared tables to show low and moderate income information for Montana counties and census-designated places, which includes incorporated cities, towns, and rural unincorporated communities, as well as census block groups. On slide 8, there's a little bit more information in regards to HUD resources related to demonstrating area-wide benefit. You will see there's a link below to an excellent video prepared by HUD. This video discusses the use of ACS, or American Community Survey, 5-year low and moderate income summary data for use in documenting benefit to low and moderate income households as part of proposed area-wide projects. Please use Google Chrome to access this link. All right, slide number 9 discusses the HUD LMI Mapping Application. So the mapping application that HUD has prepared can be found at the same HUD website noted above, or can be found at the link noted right here in the middle of the slide. The HUD mapping application allows the user to view low and moderate income information by county, census-designated place, or census block group for any location within the United States. So, of course, by looking at the HUD data and the mapping information for your census geography, you can determine those areas that are 51% or more low and moderate income, or areas that are less than 51%, again, according to the HUD ACS data. The mapping application then is very useful in planning a proposed CDBG project. The mapping application can also assist local governments in general community planning. For example, the information can be very useful for identifying areas that may need special assistance, such as areas for possible housing rehabilitation, or areas where water and sewer line replacement may be necessary. Slide 10 discusses resources available within the Department of Commerce Community Development Division. The link that you'll see at the top of the slide includes area-wide benefit, low and moderate income information, again based upon the ACS 2015 HUD data for counties, cities, towns, and unincorporated communities, as well as median household income information. Additionally, the Community Development Division has prepared maps that illustrate low and moderate income areas for Montana cities, towns, and counties, again based upon the current applicable HUD ACS data, and you'll see the link there at the bottom of slide 10. Okay, slide 11 includes some notes in regards to schools in those cases where a city, town, or county wishes to submit a CDBG application on behalf of a school district. Just like in the case of city or town applications or applications submitted on behalf of an LMI neighborhood, in the case of schools, it's necessary to demonstrate that at least 51% of the households served by the school district are low and moderate income. So in these cases, it's necessary to compare the school district boundaries to the HUD low and moderate income data. In other words, go to the applicable geographic information for HUD and look at the LMI data. Because the key point or underlying principle is that all school district residents would share in the financial benefit from CDBG assistance if the project were successful and received CDBG funds. Slide 12 illustrates another approach to show benefit to low and moderate income, and that's by demonstrating benefit to a limited clientele. By HUD regulation, there are 9 classes of groups that are automatically considered to be principally low and moderate income or limited clientele, and we'll discuss those in a moment. Or, as an alternative, communities can also demonstrate that a proposed CDBG activity will primarily assist LMI households within a particular group or clientele as supported and documented by federal program assistance qualification data. For instance, like in the case of a Head Start center, the primary beneficiaries by federal program qualification requirements must come from lower income families, which then automatically are presumed to be primarily coming from low and moderate income households. Slide 13 lists the 8 groups that have been identified by HUD to automatically consist of limited clientele individuals, including abused children, elderly persons age 62 or older, battered spouses, homeless persons, severely disabled adults or children, illiterate adults, persons living with AIDS, or migrant farm workers. So in other words, if your proposed project can be demonstrated to primarily assist one of these groups, they are presumed to then meet the national objective and principal requirement for the CDBG program. All right, on slide 14, the third and final method whereby projects can be demonstrated to show a benefit to low and moderate income is through use of the direct benefit concept. Now, a direct benefit activity occurs when the project will provide direct assistance, through the use of CDBG funds to an income-eligible household, such as rehabilitation of housing occupied by LMI households, or a public facility project that will pay utility hookup charges or assessments for only LMI households. So in these cases, all LMI applicants for direct CDBG assistance must qualify according to current year HUD income limits for the county in which the project is located. In other words, all beneficiaries are LMI households. So in these cases, the household applicants for direct CDBG assistance must provide adequate documentation, and this would come from the income tax information and records of their gross annual income. Now, the direct benefit concept can prove to be a very strategic project financing tool. For instance, CDBG can pay for assessments or for replacement of water and sewer service lines, whereas some other programs are not eligible to pay for those costs. So this option can be a key tool in gaining local acceptance of a proposed water or sewer project, because CDBG is able to pay for that assessment or to pay for that replacement of the service line, thereby lowering the project or individual project household costs for LMI households, which can then make the overall project more acceptable to the community, because again, costs are reduced for LMI households. Slide 15 illustrates the concept of conducting a CDBG income survey. Now, a income survey is usually undertaken when the area or community falls beneath 51% low and moderate income, according to the ACS data, and is thus ineligible for CDBG assistance, again, unless documented by a community-wide income survey. Now, in these cases, it's very important to work closely with CDD staff on drafting the actual income survey form, and usually to consult with USDA Rural Development as well, as typically they are a funding partner in proposals that involve the conduct of an income survey. The typical method for distribution of the survey form is to distribute the survey through monthly water and sewer bills, and the LMI booklet describes and includes the CDBG formula that sets forth the minimum number of returns. In other words, the number of completed income survey forms that need to be returned to the community to come together with a total community-wide percentage of low and moderate income and a new percent, again, LMI figure. Slide 16 illustrates the use of HUD income limits in conducting CDBG income surveys. The county-wide HUD income limits are inserted into the survey form along with a definition of annual gross household income. The income limits are provided by HUD each year for each county in the United States. It is necessary to use the most current year. The link below in the middle of the slide directs the user to the HUD income limits. The income limits include maximum income for 1 to 8 person households for both moderate and low income households. Recipients simply indicate whether their annual income falls above or below the income limit listed for their household size. Slide 17 presents the first of 3 primary income survey form models or examples. The first model, illustrated on slide 17, is for CDBG income surveys involving area-wide projects. So in the case of area-wide projects, the annual income for the household is compared to HUD income limits for the county based on household size above or below income limits. Again, above or below the HUD income limits. Usually for area-wide projects, just the moderate income limits are inserted unless it is necessary to distinguish between low and moderate income for project financing purposes. The results are then used to determine the percentage of LMI households within the defined project area or community. The model is presented in the LMI booklet under Exhibit B, Option 1. Slide 18 discusses the case where, for CDBG income survey purposes, it is necessary to distinguish between moderate income and low income. This model is for use in those cases where it is necessary to provide an estimate of the number of moderate income households versus low income households. It's usually used in those efforts where, because of budget limitations, it may be necessary to pay the full amount of any assessment for only low income households and less for moderate income households. The model is presented in Exhibit B, Option 2. This model would pertain if the local project budget is extra tight and limited, and in these cases, HUD regulations allow paying assessments for the low-income households only, and to the extent funds remain available, then pay the assessments for as many moderate-income households as well. In the case of assessments, HUD regulations require paying at least 100% of the assessments for low-income households. Slide 19 presents an alternative income survey method based upon surveying actual household income. In this case, the actual annual income for the household is requested to determine a new median household income figure for the local government or water or sewer district. Now, this method of surveying is usually used when a community wishes to establish a new median household income figure different from the HUD ACS data. This method is typically linked to a potential Treasury State Endowment Program application and or USDA Rural Development application. The model is presented in Exhibit B, Option 3. The general circumstance when this model is utilized is in those cases where the community believes the current median household income figure is too high. In other words, it doesn't reflect the current community economic situation. Undertaking and actual income survey may enhance the community's eligibility for a USDA grant or provide justification for a lower combined water and sewer rate for the Treasure State Endowment Program, which is based upon the community's median household income. Turning to slide 20, in conclusion, please remember to coordinate with CDBG staff in drafting the income survey form and devising the methodology for actually carrying out the CDBG income survey. Also, please remember that all individual results are strictly confidential. Only the overall survey results are revealed to the Community Development Division as part of the application and to the general public. Survey results and records need to be maintained by the applicant local government for 4 years. This concludes the presentation on the audio portion of the PowerPoint slides. We want to thank you for your participation. Please remember to contact CDD or CDBG staff if you have any questions at all or have any need for assistance. Thank you.